Welcome guys. We're going to go ahead and jump into Module 4, which is product testing. So go ahead and open up your Shopify dashboard, your Oberlo app if you're using Oberlo or Dropify, just so you can have access to the products that you uploaded, your business manager, your ads manager, and your Facebook page that you created for your store. You'll see I went ahead and edited a free stock photo that I found online and threw my logo on there to make a nice looking banner for the Facebook page. And then I just used the logo for icon in the corner. So we're gonna go ahead and make some minor adjustments to the page settings to make sure that it's ready to rock and roll and run ads. We wanna make sure that our visitors are not allowed to post anything on the page feed. We also want to set up some filters for words that we don't want anyone to be able to post. It's gonna help moderate our comments, and we also don't want an option for customers to leave reviews on the page. We want to be able to just get ahead of that and make sure we're managing all of those things from the beginning. So go ahead and follow along with me as I make some adjustments to the page settings, and then we'll pick it up from there. I'm going to make a post in the VIP Facebook group with all of the words that you want to filter out, that you want to add to your moderation settings. So go ahead and log into the Facebook group and you can pull all those words from there. Unfortunately, we can't copy paste into the settings anymore. We used to be able to just copy paste a 100 word list. Facebook changed that, so you actually have to type out each word individually. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's definitely worth taking care of before you start running ads. So we're going to go ahead and launch 6 different products today. Basically just kind of pick these at random. I wanted to make sure they were different enough that we could go over some different targeting and also use different creatives. So I think we're going to use 1 video today and 5 pictures. Just because a lot of you guys that are starting out, the easiest way to get started is to run picture ads. We get great results from pictures, so there's no need to feel like you have to put a nice video together or rip something off the internet or shoot your own custom video. Those are definitely things that you're going to want to transition into over time. But for those of you that are starting out, running with pictures is perfectly fine. And for those of you that are already reasonably successful, you're doing 6 figures, 7 figures a month, I mean, we use pictures all the time. So definitely don't shy away from those. So I'm just going through and making sure I'm downloading all the pictures that we're going to use and upload to the Facebook page. And then we're going through, and for our ad copy, all we're using is the product description that we wrote in the last video. We try to keep things very clean, very simple, and very congruent. Okay, we want the description to be the same as the ad copy. We want the picture that they see in the ad to be the first picture that they see on the landing page. It all plays through into making just a very smooth experience for the customer, and our goal is to kind of, I guess, rush them through the checkout process as quickly as possible. We don't want to interrupt that. We don't want to break their chain of thought at any point during this process. That's why we don't use any pop-ups. We just want the process to be very clean, very simple, and very quick. As you're watching this video, just go ahead and you can upload your pictures, your videos to your Facebook page, copy and paste your descriptions. Feel free to throw in, if there's an emoji that's relatable to the product, that's okay too. Sometimes we'll also, rather than using the product description, we'll just use the product name and an emoji and then the product link, and that's it. Very clean, very simple, and we get great results from that as well. You'll see some of the bigger companies doing that, like Fashion Nova, and obviously they know what they're doing too. So simple is the key here. Try not to sound spammy. There's no need to try to rush them into this process. If you are following my product research techniques and you're looking for products with a high perceived value, you don't really have to convince anyone to buy. The product should be appealing enough to seal the deal, right? Because you're advertising it to somebody that's already interested, and you're providing a product that has a high perceived value and it's within a reasonable price range. It should just close the deal by itself like that. So that is the approach that we use, and I think you're going to get great results from that as well. On another note, because our approach is different, it kind of stands out. So our ads don't look like the typical drop shipping store ads, and I think that also helps play a role in our success. We don't sound just like every other scammy drop shipper. You're probably also noticing that everything we're doing is page post. If you're not familiar with what that means, it just means that we post all of our ads to the page, and then we boost them from Ads Manager. Rather than creating the ad within Ads Manager like the majority of people do, I believe that page post ads actually perform better. It's what I've been doing consistently for the last 2 years, so we continue to use that method and it works very well for us. That's why we're just going through the process, uploading all the creatives and the descriptions to our Facebook page, and then we go through and we do all of the ads at the same time as well. It helps you be more systematic and actually launch a lot faster too. Okay, now that you have all of your creatives posted on your Facebook page, we're gonna go ahead and start launching some campaigns. So in your Ads Manager, go ahead and create a new campaign, and we are gonna go straight for conversions. So no matter what type of creative you're using, I don't care if it's a picture or a video, we're always going to go straight to conversion. It doesn't matter how much data you have on your pixel, it doesn't matter if it's a new store, we always start with conversion and we always go straight to purchase. We don't waste time with anything else because there's no point in trying to trick Facebook. Facebook is plenty smart, it knows, it has enough data on people out there to know whether or not people are interested in making a purchase regardless of whether or not they've interacted with your store. So we're always going to go for purchase because that's what we want, and we are trying to train our ad account from the very beginning to let it know what we want and how we want it to perform. And we want purchases, so that's what we go for. So go ahead and name your campaign whatever the product is that you're promoting at this time. I believe we start with the LED rave glasses, so we're going to go ahead and name our campaign that. At the top, go ahead and select purchase conversion. If you don't have any purchases on this pixel, it's going to have a little red dot. That's totally fine, just ignore it, it's not a big deal. The first thing you're going to change is the location. Go ahead and change this to worldwide. 9 times out of 10, we leave our age range as 18 to 65. If there is an item that is clearly for an elderly person, then it's okay to change the age range at this point. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, we leave our age range as the default setting. Next up is gender. If the item is obviously for a specific gender, then go ahead and pick the gender here. If it's gender neutral, then leave it as all. Now for targeting, we always start with the single broadest, most obvious interest. So for these rave glasses, I believe we picked EDM. We could have gone with rave as well, but we're just going to pick one interest to start with. And we are going to deselect the expanded interest checkmark. Single broad interests have the most data available to Facebook. They're also the cheapest to advertise to, so your CPMs are going to be the lowest. The more you try to refine and the more specific you get with your audiences, the more expensive the ads are going to be. And we believe that winning products are going to sell regardless of whether or not you're specific or general in your targeting. So we always stay general to keep the ad cost low, and it helps us keep the ad cost just as low during the scaling process, during the lookalike process. It's just definitely the best way to launch your ads. But go ahead and select Edit Placements, and we're going to only target mobile during the testing process. There's only one time that we will target both devices, and that is during the more extreme part of our scaling process once we have a lot of data available. The only placements we're going to use are Facebook feed and Instagram feed. So go ahead and deselect all of the other boxes. You can leave the specific mobile devices drop-down box as the default setting. Unless you're selling an iPhone case, then obviously you're going to want to target people with iPhones. But otherwise, just leave it as the default setting. We launch our testing ads at $20 a day. If your cash flow or your cash reserves only allow you to run with $5 a day, that's totally fine. It just means you're going to get your data a lot slower. The higher the budget it is that you start with, less accurate it's going to be at the beginning. So I mean, if you wanted to run with $100 a day ad sets at the beginning, that'd honestly be totally fine. You just have to account for the decrease in performance. A $5 a day ad set's going to get a better margin than a $20 a day ad set, but you're also going to get your data slower. You're going to have a harder time scaling that ad as well. We're going to leave everything else as the default setting on this page. So go ahead and leave it as 7-day click or 1-day view. The only time we change that setting is during the extreme scaling part of our process as well, which we'll cover in the next video. So go ahead and hit continue and go to the next page, and then at the top of the page, hit use existing post. Select your post from the drop-down box provided, and do not add any buttons to this post. We are only going to leave a link in the description, and that is it. We have split tested buttons versus no buttons, and we always get better performance from ads with no buttons. I can't explain it, but it's just what the data tells us, so we continue to use no buttons and just the links in the description. After your first ad set's been published, go ahead and hit the duplicate button and duplicate it 2 times. While leaving those duplicated ad sets in draft mode, just go ahead and select one of them and change the location to United States, and then select the other one and change the location to Europe. So we're going to be using one interest, and we're going to be targeting 3 locations: worldwide, US, and Europe. Go ahead and publish those ad sets, and then you're going to select all 3 that you've got created, and you're going to duplicate them 1 time for a total of 6 ad sets. So your 3 new ad sets, you're going to change the interest. All right, we're going to use another single broad interest, but we like to pick something that is 1 step removed. For instance, with the backpack, the first interest that we use is backpack, the most obvious and simple interest. And the second one we picked was travel. It's 1 thing removed, right? What do you need a backpack for? You need a backpack to travel. So that is the thought process that we go with, and it works very well for us. Please follow along and do the same with your products. I'm going to go ahead and make some changes to the columns. It'd be nice if you went ahead and followed along. That way when we reach the scaling portion of this course in Module 5, you'll be able to look at the same data points for your ads as I'm looking at for mine, and you're able to make decisions the same way that I make decisions. So we're going to go ahead and put a list of those specific data points that you need to put in your columns, and go ahead and set them up appropriately, and make sure you save it so you don't have to do it again. It can be kind of a pain to do so. We launch our video ad sets the same way we do our pictures. The only difference for the videos is that we do use buttons for them. So go ahead on the final screen when you're selecting your creative, go ahead and add button and click the Shop Now selection. We find that buttons work well for videos, but they do not work well for pictures. We prefer to only use 1 ad creative. There are occasions where we have a hard time deciding which creative to use, and in those situations we will split test them. We will not run with 2 creatives on the same ad set. We will actually run 12 ad sets rather than 6 and pick the winner from there. Sometimes they both perform, and we'll just scale up the ones that perform, and that's totally fine as well. But I'd say 9 times out of 10 we only use 1 creative, because we believe a winning product is going to sell. It's that simple, right? So the whole purpose here is efficiency and speed and volume, and testing as much as you possibly can, and reading the data and scaling aggressively when you find a winner. So in the next video, we are going to go through the scaling process. This is the end of the testing video. As you can see, it's quite simple, it's very systematic, and it's that way because we want to execute as quickly and as frequently and with as much volume as possible.